The stealth shuttle, Eclipse, streaked silently toward the Silent Legion's command vessel. Its dark, angular design blended seamlessly into the void, rendering it nearly invisible to enemy sensors. Inside, Leo Vega and Aria Santos sat strapped into their seats, surrounded by an array of high-tech equipment. The hum of the shuttle systems was the only sound, punctuated by the occasional vibration of distant explosions. Leo tightened the straps of his harness and glanced at Aria. "Still think this is a good idea?" Aria rolled her eyes, though a nervous smile tugged at her lips. "If we die, it'll be a spectacularly bad idea. But if we pull this off, we're legends." "Legends, huh? That'll look nice on a tombstone." The two exchanged a quick fist bump, masking their fear with banter. The stakes were monumental. Failure meant Earth's annihilation, and success was far from guaranteed. In Earth's orbit, the battle raged on. The Silent Legion's ships pressed against the planetary defenses like a relentless tide. Orbital cannons fired in rhythmic bursts, their plasma bolts striking true but having limited effect against the fleet's adaptive shielding. Swarms of drones zipped through space, engaging the enemy in desperate dogfights. Mira Solis stood in the Galactic Forum's command center, watching the chaos unfold on a massive holoscreen. Her jaw was set in grim determination as reports of casualties and damage poured in. "Earth shields are down to 40%, an officer announced. "We're losing the outer defense grid." Mira slammed her fist onto the console. "Hold them back. The infiltration team needs more time." Her mind raced as she weighed the implications of every decision. The Alliance had dispatched a small fleet to assist, but their arrival was still hours away. Earth was on its own, and the clock was ticking. Inside the Eclipse, the ship's AI pinged with an alert. They had reached the command vessel. The towering, spike-laden structure loomed before them, its surface pulsating with faint, crimson light. The ship seemed alive, its exterior shifting and shimmering like liquid metal. Tendrils of energy arced across its hull, forming a web of defensive systems. Aria studied the readings on her console. "This thing is a fortress. We'll need to find a weak spot to breach." Leo's fingers flew across the controls. "There's a thermal vent near the lower quadrant. It's small, but it's our best shot." The Eclipse approached cautiously, weaving through the chaotic battlefield. The Silent Legion's smaller vessels swarmed around the command ship, but their attention was focused on Earth's defenses. The shuttle slipped through the gaps, finally reaching the vent. "All right," Leo said, his voice tight with focus. Switching to manual. With precise movements, he guided the shuttle into the vent. The ship's hull scraped against the narrow walls, sparks flying as they descended into the belly of the beast. The interior of the command vessel was unlike anything they had anticipated. The walls pulsed with organic textures, glowing faintly as if alive. Strange, alien runes etched into the surfaces shifted and writhed, defying logic and physics. The air was heavy, filled with a low, rhythmic hum that seemed to vibrate in their bones. Leo and Aria donned their lightweight exosuits and stepped out of the shuttle. They carried the EMP device in a reinforced case, its compact design belying its destructive potential. "This place is giving me serious, haunted spaceship vibes," Leo muttered. "Focus," Aria replied, scanning their surroundings with a handheld device. "The core should be in the central chamber. We've got 10 minutes to plant the EMP and get out before it detonates." They moved quickly but cautiously, following the device's readings. The deeper they went, the more unsettling the environment became. Strange, chittering noises echoed through the corridors, and shadows seemed to move of their own accord. Meanwhile, the battle outside reached a critical point. Earth's shields were down to 20%, and the Silent Legion ships were breaking through the final line of defense. "Ambassador," a technician called out to Mira, "we've detected increased energy output from the command ship. It's charging for something massive." Mira's blood ran cold. "A super weapon?" The technician nodded grimly. "If it fires, Earth won't survive the impact. Mira activated the secure line to the infiltration team. Leo, Arya, you need to hurry. That ship is about to destroy Earth. We're on it. Arya's voice crackled back through the comms. Leo and Arya reached the central chamber, and their breath caught at the sight. The room was massive, its walls lined with writhing conduits that pulsed with crimson energy. At the center was the core, a floating sphere of liquid light, encased in a lattice of shifting metal. Okay, Arya said, setting the EMP device on the floor. This is it. Let's set it up and get out of here. Leo crouched next to her, his fingers deftly activating the device's interface. 5 minutes until detonation. That's plenty of time, right? Don't jinx it, Arya said, her eyes scanning the room for threats. As they worked, the hum in the chamber grew louder, and the walls seemed to shift more aggressively. Suddenly, a deafening screech tore through the air. The conduits around the core unraveled, forming into humanoid shapes, sentinels made of pure energy and metal. Great, Leo muttered. Because this wasn't hard enough already. The sentinels advanced, their limbs crackling with lethal energy. Arya pulled a plasma pistol from her holster and fired, the bolts slamming into one of the creatures. It staggered but quickly recovered, its form reassembling. They're regenerating, she shouted. Leo finished activating the EMP and stood, grabbing a small energy grenade from his belt. Keep them busy. I'll clear us a path. He tossed the grenade, and it exploded in a burst of light, temporarily disorienting the sentinels. Arya used the opening to fire at their joints, buying them precious seconds. EMP is set. Leo shouted. Let's move. The two sprinted back toward the shuttle, dodging tendrils of energy that lashed out from the walls. The sentinels pursued relentlessly, their movements eerily synchronized. One lunged at Arya, its claw grazing her shoulder. She cried out but kept running, her determination outweighing the pain. They reached the eclipse just as the EMP began its final countdown. The shuttle's engines roared to life, and it blasted out of the thermal vent with seconds to spare. The EMP detonated, releasing a massive pulse of energy that rippled through the command vessel. The core shattered, and the ship's tendrils convulsed violently before falling still. Outside, the Silent Legion's fleet faltered, their movements growing erratic. Without the Hive network, the once coordinated army devolved into chaos. Earth's defenders seized the opportunity. Orbital cannons and drones struck with renewed vigor, tearing through the disoriented ships. The tide of the battle turned. In the aftermath, Leo and Arya's shuttle docked with the UEDC command station. The two emerged, battered but alive, to a chorus of cheers. On the Galactic Forum, Mira received the news with a rare smile. She turned to the council members, her voice firm. Earth has proven its strength and resolve. If the Alliance truly values us, it will respect our neutrality, or meet us as equals. The council members exchanged solemn glances, their respect for humanity's resilience evident. But even as the celebration began, Mira couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The aftermath of the battle rippled across the galaxy. The Silent Legion's defeat was a resounding victory, not just for Earth but for the Interstellar Alliance itself. Yet, as the smoke cleared and the celebrations began, humanity stood at a crossroads. In the United Earth Defense Command's main briefing room, Mira Solis addressed an assembly of Earth's military leaders, technicians, and scientists. A live feed of the event was broadcast across the planet, with billions of humans watching from their homes, workplaces, and public spaces. Myra's voice was steady as she spoke, her words carrying the weight of the battle's cost and its implications. We have faced the unimaginable and prevailed. Earth's people stood united, proving our resilience and ingenuity against an ancient force that sought to silence us forever. A thunderous applause erupted, but Mira raised a hand to quiet the crowd. This victory, however, comes with a price. We can no longer afford to stand apart from the galaxy. Our neutrality has shielded us in the past, but the Silent Legion's attack has shown us that isolation is not the same as safety. She paused, letting her words sink in. The Interstellar Alliance has extended an offer of equal partnership. For the first time, humanity has a seat at the table as equals, not pawns. It is up to us to decide what kind of future we want. The room was silent for a moment before erupting into discussion. Opinions varied, from cautious optimism to skepticism. But one thing was clear: humanity had earned its place on the galactic stage. Meanwhile, in the orbital station's infirmary, Leo Vega and Aria Santos were recovering from their injuries. Aria lay on a cot, her shoulder bandaged, while Leo sat nearby, fidgeting with a broken piece of equipment he'd insisted on salvaging from the eclipse. "You think they'll really let us be neutral?" Aria asked, her voice tinged with exhaustion. Leo smirked, not looking up from his work. "Neutrality's a nice idea, but after today, I don't think it's realistic. We just took down a fleet that probably could have wiped out half the galaxy. You think the big players are going to ignore that?"
Ihr seid.
"Yeah, but joining the Alliance, it's not just a step forward. It's a commitment. They'll expect us to fight in their wars." Leo leaned back, tossing the piece of metal onto the table. "Maybe. But maybe it's better to be in the room where decisions are made than to be left outside." They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of their experiences settling over them. "Still," Leo added, grinning, "we'll definitely get free drinks for life after this. Galactic heroes and all." Aria chuckled, despite herself. "You're insufferable." In the Galactic Forum's council chamber, Mira met privately with Draxel and Kreiser. The tension in the room was noticeably lighter now, with Earth's victory reshaping the dynamics of their relationship. Draxel's energy form flickered with what Mira had come to interpret as approval. "Ambassador Solis, humanity's actions have proven your worthiness. The Alliance does not lightly extend partnership to any species, but your people have earned it." Kreiser, ever the skeptic, crossed his elongated arms. "But neutrality? That is a dangerous position to maintain. You must know that." Mira met his gaze, unflinching. "Neutrality doesn't mean isolation. We will collaborate with the Alliance on matters of shared interest, but we will not be conscripted into wars that do not serve our people. Earth will stand as a partner, not a pawn." The reptilian alien hissed softly, but there was no malice in it. "A delicate balance. Let us hope your people are as adept at politics as they are at combat." Draxel nodded. "Very well. The Council will ratify Earth's position. You will join us as equals, and your voice will carry weight." As they departed, Mira allowed herself a rare moment of satisfaction. Humanity had navigated its way through impossible odds and emerged stronger. But she knew the real challenges were just beginning. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted in cities across the globe. Neo Geneva's skyline lit up with fireworks, and people filled the streets, cheering for the heroes who had saved their planet. The names of Mira Solis, Leo Vega, and Aria Santos became synonymous with courage and ingenuity. Yet, amidst the festivities, questions lingered. What would humanity's role in the galaxy look like? How could they ensure that their newfound partnership with the Alliance didn't compromise their independence? In a quiet corner of Neo Geneva, Mira, Leo, and Aria gathered for a rare moment of respite. They sat on a rooftop overlooking the vibrant city, a bottle of champagne between them. "To survival," Leo said, raising a glass. "To resilience," Mira added, clinking her glass against his. "To the future," Aria finished, her voice thoughtful. They drank in silence for a moment, each lost in their thoughts. The battle was over, but the path ahead was uncertain. Still, they couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. Humanity had proven it could rise to any challenge, and now the stars awaited. Far away, in the shadowy depths of space, remnants of the Silent Legion drifted in silence. But deep within the wreckage of their command ship, A faint light flickered. The galaxy had not seen the last of them. Back on Earth, Mira gazed at the night sky, the stars brighter than ever. Humanity was no longer just an observer of the cosmos. They were a part of it, ready to carve their destiny among the stars. And whatever came next, they would face it together.